I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
That's Lavi.
And Salty and Chip.
Pantera.
Yeah. You know what's funny?
Panama
Anytime
fucking
the comments come in that are like, you know how old they are because they'll say Sparky.
Right.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
you haven't been watching the show.
Yeah, y'all don't know about Sparky. All you new jacks.
Yeah.
Shout out to the new people in the village. We appreciate
welcome.
y'all.
Welcome
Vin and
to the
Sori,
Ville.
vinandsori.com. If you are part of a Patreon alliance, I need a Patreon alliance leader to hook up with Nexus Media to set up a Patreon alliance page on vinandsori.com, because we got a bunch of people that are not fans of Facebook. And we've got our own community stuff on vinandsori.com. So if you can make that happen as a Patreon person, first person to set that up gets 10 extra bonus points.
Don't drive Mark crazy with everybody running to phone.
Well, there's only like 4 or 5 Patreon alliance members.
Okay.
It's got to be an alliance member. Build an alliance from...
the leader, one of the leaders, right?
Yeah. Build an alliance from Patreon and we'll give you 10 points for the first person to make that happen.
All right, cool.
Because the standards for getting your Patreon pick are going to increase because we've got more people anyway. So, all right.
You can also, if you want your Sori secret shirt, you can go right to vinandsori.com and you can get that there. If your size is not there, just click on any of the sizes that are there and put in the information, like the, what do you call it? Not the comment part of it, but basically, the comment part of it. Just tell me what size you actually need. I've been able to get up to a size 5X, so whatever you need, we can get. You know, sometimes it just takes a bit longer.
All right. The Sleep, Pantera, let's do it.
And go.
survive this night? We're humbling the meek. Will we survive? This question haunts my mind. Will we survive this night? We're humbling the meek. Will we survive this night?
Ladies and gentlemen, that is metal for you. I feel like that represents a genre very well. You know what's wild? Is there was like a phase within our reaction channel reacting where I was like, I had to keep giving bad ratings because I didn't like the stuff. And I was starting to panic, starting to think, what if I just don't like metal? But this, that's like friggin' adrenaline in your veins. Like, that makes me very happy, very excited, and I don't know why this song wasn't like ridiculously suggested. Like, I feel like this should have been our first one.
I'm starting.
Well, I don't know. The Cowboys in is it Cowboys in Hell?
Cowboys from Hell.
Cowboys from
This
Hell.
is on that
pretty good, too.
record.
Okay, well I like this
on that
record,
record.
baby.
This record's a classic. It has cemetery gates on it.
This is like this man.
These guys. These some bad motherfuckers.
Yeah,
man.
that was wild, man. The guitar work during it, like the way the notes that they were hitting, and then oh my word,
Dimebag, like he's like two people in one. Because when he starts getting heavy, when it's like it's just this like what motherfucker? What? Like
You're right.
every freaking chord is just like fuck you.
Yes.
Like some Stone Cold Steve Austin shit.
Yeah.
But then when he does his solo, it's like I'd like a cup of tea.
Yes.
Like he's very brilliant. Like two people in one person on 10.
Yeah.
Like it's incredible to me. Like I feel like he's probably the most gifted guitarist as far as like being able to do both at the same time.
Yeah.
Like just I haven't heard any bad riffs from him. I haven't heard any forgettable riffs from him. That Floods riff with the and then the breakdown for the one that they did in Russia.
Yeah.
You know when he did that and then the breakdown that was heavy as hell.
Oh my god.
Very memorable. This shit.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love
the walk riff obviously. I mean, every single riff that this guy makes is it's unbelievable. I always promise myself like I'm not gonna feel bad because Dime isn't here anymore. So I just want to celebrate how fucking gifted this kid was. Man.
Unbelievable.
And this is, he was in his Cowboys from Hell that came out, and he was in his 20s. I think
20s.
Still.
That's crazy.
But that just like, and then the acoustic part was just like.
Oh my word! Such an exciting song.
Obviously a 10 for me, like right out the gates. But I mean.
Yeah. God, 11.
God Almighty.
Yeah.
And you know what's interesting? Like, one of the biggest criticisms of the channel is that we never talk about the music.
Yeah.
But, like, Dime makes it so, like, you have no fucking choice.
No. You are going to see it, and you're going to go face to face
choice.
with this.
You got to be a deaf person.
Seriously.
No disrespect.
You wouldn't be able to, if you...
To not, like, be, like, blown away. The tone, I mean, he just...
there's
just a
always...
singular artist.
People ask that question, would you rather be blind or deaf?
Right.
And I always say I would rather be deaf. But when I hear stuff like this, I'm like, but if I was blind and I heard something like this, it would probably be even more incredible because what you feel in that, like... So this makes me second guess my answer.
Yeah, Phil did a good job too, vocally.
Unbelievable.
I think Phil did a really good job vocally.
Was that a little bit of Hatfield at the end there? Is that how you say it?
No, that was Judas Priest.
Who's Judas Priest? What's his name? Rob
Halford.
Halford. Is it Rob Halford?
Yeah, Rob Halford. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little bit of Rob Halford at the end there, right?
For sure.
I was like, oh, we've heard this before.
We've heard this before.
He did well. I thought he did
Oh
well.
no, he did really good. And then that backing lead part at the end was so good. I'm like, what in the world?
Gosh.
I mean,
Incredible.
we'll definitely get into the lyrics, but golly, instrumentation.
I have no clue what
The instrumentation is insane.
What?
God,
Oh my word! I
Dimebag.
feel very excited right now.
Dimebag,
like-
man.
Can you imagine hearing this live?
Oh my gosh.
I think
I
I would
mean-
even jump into some mosh pit too and jump around. Yeah. Oh
Like-
my gosh.
Oh man.
That is some legendary shit right there, man.
You don't hear stuff like this anymore, man. Like, this is like a completely unique.
Oh my
Like,
gosh. that
God
is
just said, he just poured so many gifts into that one kid. Like, just bang. Like, there you go.
Yep.
Go fuck shit up for,
Yep.
I'm sure God didn't say that to him, but God almighty.
Wow. Wow. What? Go ahead.
I just, I wish I wasn't the way that I am sometimes. I just feel so sad that he's.
See, and
that
I
he's- that
can
he's not
not
like
feel
that.
sad. I can just bask in the glory of his
who he is,
unbelievable,
yeah.
like, wow. Like, and the thing is, like, I mean, who the fuck knows? He might be playing like this only on 10. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like, we're
Right.
looking at this like it's a 10. But, like,
Right.
I don't know. Who knows? Like, I don't know what his story was, or where he ended up with how he went with God, like whatever. I mean, maybe he's rocking harder than ever right now. He's like, you guys don't know nothing yet,
Inshallah.
But wow,
Yeah.
that
Such a good record. God almighty.
that right there is just
I feel like it's probably like they have such an
the
amazing.
borderline idolatry.
Yeah.
Like-
I think like they're so amazing that it's just hard
It's closed, babe.
for. That's okay.
Bottle. He's afraid about the water by the computer. Can't blame him. Give me that.
I think they're just so good that like it's hard to figure out which Pantera song to select.
My memory is so bad that it's like a first experience every time I hear something. I'm like, these people are crazy. But I'm pretty sure I do remember giving like a really high rating to the Cowboys from Hell or something. Wait, is that what it's called? Cowboys from Hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I really enjoyed that one. Had a real good time with it. Like, I think that this is, that feeling that you have when you're young and like the world is before you and you're at your prime, you're at your strength.
Yeah.
Like, I think that it captured, like, this record maybe captures that. Like, nobody's gonna fuck with us. We are the best. Like, our kids are like, they're young, but they're almost like teenagers in their like thought process and stuff. Like, they, some of them just think they literally like, they're the best at literally everything. Like, Dorian, when he loses with you, it's unfathomable.
He's really confused.
He's genuinely
legit confused.
He really thinks that
How
he
did
should
I
be able
lose?
to beat you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're 12. Like, you're...
I've been playing Madden since before you were born.
Yeah, but nope, that doesn't compute. He's like, tomorrow I'll get him. He'll be like, what? It's so funny to see the look on his face and that confusion when he loses. But, like, I feel like that's these people. They're just at their height and they're going for it. And, like, as you age, different things happen. You get sorrows and pains and like stuff. Life can make you bitter and all that. But, like, when you're young, like, everything is just before you. It's like, I don't know. It's graduation day. I'm not sure. It's just very exciting, and I really appreciate it. I have no clue what we were singing about, though. What is it about?
I have no idea. Let's see. Understanding what has happened before us, we were confined to a dark and hidden tomb.
What would happen? You were just so blown away by the music that you didn't watch the lyrics?
No, I did watch the lyrics,
Oh,
but the lyrics were not as self-evident as lyrics
As
usually
genuine.
are. I think this is turning out. It looks like a story almost. Understanding what was happened before us, we are confined to a dark and hidden tomb, the conquering of our world as we knew it. Rise above this pit of sorrow and pain among the few. We are the avant leaders. We've got to live through this trouble and decay. So it looks like
wow.
a post-apocalyptic, like
Yeah.
the world has been mashed into mush.
Right.
And
But we're
there's,
gonna come out
there's
as the
this
leaders.
group. Yeah, they rise above the pit of what the world has become. We're avant. It's kind of like you're like abstract
Mm-hmm.
and like nobody's ever seen anything like you type of thing.
I like we've got to live through this trouble and decay. Like, whatever, we've got to live through it. But that's really cool. Like, we're that. You say Avant? Avant?
Yeah. It's like, it just be like you're abstract. Like, you can't say, oh, they're like this.
Yeah.
Because these guys are metal,
different.
but they're not Metallica. They're not Megadeth.
Nope.
You know, like how, no disrespect, but it was, what was the band that sounded exactly like Metallica?
New Testament?
No, it wasn't New Testament. It was Testament.
I mean, I'm so Christian.
That's right. We're holy. Yeah, you know, Testament sounded exactly like Metallica.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this sounds like Metallica. And
Right.
people were like, actually,
Yeah.
Metallica sounds like Testament.
Yep.
Which is fine, but like, these guys don't sound like anybody. Halas.
Yeah.
Like, they are really the avant leaders. They're like, really like...
Is this supposedly the... I get confused between who's the racist people that...
Shut up! Go ahead.
They're so loud.
It's
It's
so freaking
unbelievable.
loud. I've been loud all day. I've been working.
I know. I keep telling you, be quiet. Your dad's working.
Well, yeah. This is Phil Anselmo, supposedly.
Yeah.
He's a,
So you shouldn't
racist
like
dude.
him.
I shouldn't. Yeah, I'm not supposed to like him. I want to talk to him.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Like, I don't even care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm
these
not
people
saying that racism is cool, but like, you know,
Man, these people are
I
good.
don't. You know, it's just like, what the hell does that have to do with the art form? Of you know, are we going to require perfection from everybody?
No,
that
I think that if somebody's going out like a raging racist, that's different than. Maybe I misunderstood. I thought that he was like drunk and then he said something that.
Well, yeah, he was
basically,
drunk and he
I
said.
mean, he just was more honest in that moment. And,
Well, yeah, he was more honest than 85% of the people where we live.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, me and you go out, I see people all the time. You don't notice it, but I notice
don't.
it. You know, I notice it all the time.
Oh man,
And
I should take a notice. I would
They
like
would
that.
they would never say that shit. They would never say that shit. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like, I prefer that. But anyway, shout out to the big homie Phil Anselmo. Let's talk, buddy. It's always funny because like anytime this comes up, there's always people like, yeah, I read that thing to you. It's like,
I know.
fuck you, you're racist.
I know somebody said you were.
He called me a baster. Baster.
What the hell's a baster?
I'm pretty sure the big homie meant bastard. A baster?
Okay.
I mean, it's
You
September.
baste the turkey?
It's September. Turkey time is in a couple months, my guy. The fucking you baster.
Okay.
You baster.
I know. Whenever somebody does something that's supposed to be insulting and they spell it wrong, it always makes me chuckle.
I usually like think to myself, should I correct this person? It'd be a really, you know, a jerk move, but I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna leave it. So that the next time he goes to harass somebody on Facebook, he can do the same shit. Because I don't want to correct him, because then he'll be like, bastard. We're the avant leaders. We've got to live through this trouble and decay. So it's like the world is fucked up, and then there's a leadership vacuum. But they're gonna.
Oh, interesting. You read that differently than I did. Did you read it like this is what we have to do? We have to live through this decay.
Yeah.
And I read it like we have to live through this decay. Like we will survive. Like we have to survive. Not like it was like very like empowering when he said it. Like,
How's that different from when I said?
well, we have no choice. Like we have to live through it. Like
No.
we have to live through all of this. No,
No,
that's not
it's
how
like
you
a
say it.
rallying the troops type
Yes,
of thing. Like
and we have to live. Okay.
The verse above, the line above says, "We are the leaders."
Yeah, you just read it with such like.
Rise above the pit of sorrow and it's like you know, the world is jacked up, but we're gonna use our music to get people to
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, to overcome all that shit. This
Well, they say that music like crosses barriers. That because
Yeah.
like we listen to Batushka, we don't have we don't know what they're saying unless
Right.
somebody translates for us.
Shout out to the
or
big homie.
Du hast or whatever.
Yeah.
We can't understand that.
Yeah.
But it crossed all those barriers, and we're like, ah, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when it's going on. So like, music has a way of like. And then you can even have like different. I mean, I grew up in a sheltered Christian home, and here I am sitting with these metalheads, and we're all like, yes, on this Pantera song. You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
crosses barriers.
Yeah.
And here you are, black, and it's supposed to be racist. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I don't think that if somebody was like a raging racist and then saying like terrible, horrible things, like I do think that should be addressed. Like but I just think that situation was a bit different.
Well, there's a difference between making music as a vehicle to promote a certain evil ideology. Like there are certain bands that we
Right.
refuse to play.
Right. Yeah.
And it's because the guy's making music specifically for the destruction of other people.
He said it explicitly.
He said it
Right,
explicitly.
so-
Well, then fuck you. I'm not doing that. But
Not about that.
but a person who creates a medium or puts out music through this medium that brings people together and gives people a sense of hope and a sense of empowerment. That person may be flawed. So the jewel is in dirty hands, but you don't look at the jewel and say, "Oh,
This can't.
the jewel is now fucked up because
Right.
the hands that hold it are dirty." And the
That's
facts
all right, we
are,
can fix that.
yeah, and the facts are from a theological perspective, everybody's holding some, Paul's we hold these treasures in jars of clay, right? And
Right.
obviously the ultimate thing is the gospel from our perspective, but this is part of creating a new and better world because that's our entire mindset.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, this song. I mean, I really can't find anything that goes against like any sort of Christian ideal as far as like we're going to create a new world. We're going to create a new and better world from the ashes of the destruction of this world. Like that's a beautiful theme. So I'm not gonna. That's the thing. Like people, like. What are we supposed to do? Just completely throw away the entire catalog of all of these brothers, all of their brilliance,
No.
because they were raised in a certain environment and only know a certain way of being? Like, that's ridiculous. We were supposed to tear up the Constitution too because those guys were slaveholders, half of them? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, hello.
No, I agree.
That's why people don't realize, like, that's why I can criticize the hell out of somebody and still listen to their music. Because what's happening when they put pen to paper or pick to string is a divine moment between them and God. Like, because like, God has specifically gifted those people for that mark on the earth.
Absolutely.
Well, that's a sacred thing you're dealing with. I'm not going to like freak out and say, oh, this person had a flaw, so now I can't listen
They had
to
a
them. Get the
flaw.
fuck out of here.
No flaws here.
Yeah. This is a flaw-free zone. It's like only certain types of flaws are allowable. But God forbid the guy's a little bit racist or cultural or whatever. Like, I think that you are, and that you're. That was the whole point of our debate with Exodus. Is I think that you suffer from some Western ethnocentrism.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
No, I think that you're right. I mean, there's certain thoughts that I've always had that, like, we've had bunches of discussions because I've had the freedom to be able to be like, speak as openly as I want to. Man, sometimes I wish that those discussions would have been recorded because I feel like that they're questions that people want to ask. They're cross-cultural, and like I'm asking you questions as a white person to a black person in America, and like, what is this like, and like, well, and my thoughts on it and stuff. And maybe we can rediscuss some of those things because I think the discussions are very important.
And you're the most incredible human being I've met in my life. But, like, I would have missed out on that if I would have just, like, got triggered by every little, stupid, thing.
Yeah, and there's, like, one thing that I said to you that like, pops back in my head, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how racist, I can't believe I said that, like,
But,
I'll tell you guys one day.
Like, how is that the unforgivable sin? I don't understand. Look at the
I
song.
didn't hate you or hate black people.
Learn from our mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the only thing. Like, you gotta preach. This is why I always say, like, that original sin doctrine is very helpful for us. It's like, okay, you got to assume that everybody around you sucks at some level. Okay, maybe they've got the race thing right, but they're gonna have some other thing wrong. I mean, good night. Look at the Fireside with Jamar and Majestic and all that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to be able to yell at each other and still love you. That's what I loved about the Fireside. Like, I'm like, Majestic, you loser. You're melting. Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah, at the end, I love you, man. And then he sends me an email. We're good. Like.
Yep.
But that's how you're gonna build the new world that these guys are talking about. Is like the odds are against us. There's a lot of odds against us right now. Like, people don't understand like why we do those political firesides.
Yeah.
It's like.
The metal.
I get that people like are exhausted by it. I get that aspect of it, and I get saying, look, I go to a reaction channel for entertainment and things like that. I'm not going in there. like I get that, in which case you just say, okay, don't watch it.
Yeah,
right?
just
and
click on the reactions.
I don't mean
We're
it.
not
I don't mean it with the attitude. I just
No.
mean don't watch it.
Yeah, we don't have a problem with that at all. Like if set your own boundaries.
But I do want to be able to show people like, okay, we can actually disagree here passionately,
Yep.
without calling each other names and hating each other
Yeah.
at the end of it.
Yeah.
You know.
Definitely.
Or even like Elio, Mike, and Jamarl Thomas came to some sort of mutual understanding at the end of it.
Yep.
And
That's good.
But they didn't completely agree, which is beautiful, which is like the idea,
That
right?
we're going for, yeah.
Yeah, so like, there's a lot of odds against us because people, and I've had people tell me all this always devolves into badness and it always turns in. I don't think so. I think the people in our community are pretty badass.
I think it's gone very well.
I think people start to figure it out like, okay, I'm going to come with this. And, and at the end, everybody's like, all right, we're good. Like, you know, so that's my thing is like, can you imagine like what a horror it would be if Pantera was ever stricken from the record?
I know.
Like we would have lost on so much beauty and brilliance and just
and this is such an uplifting thing. And I like too that it says like, so it says this question. Whoops, hold on. Can you scroll back up, babe?
It's still this question.
Well, I'm going to go to the paragraph right below it too. This question haunts my mind. Will we survive this night? We're harboring the meek. Will we survive the sleep? Is he saying like, why? What is he? We're harboring the meek, meaning like even the meek ones are there with them, and he's not sure if they're going to survive because of them. What does that mean?
Well, yeah, it's like if the world is against you, then you know the logical thing to do would be to have a bunch of bad motherfuckers with you.
Right.
But if the world is against you, but you're harboring the meek, how the hell are you going to survive? You know, of course, the response to that is the meek inherit the earth.
Well, yeah. That's what it says in the New Testament.
Oh, I see what you did there. Cover up for your previous error.
So the next part, unsure and scared, we're planning our reprise, revolves around this world. We don't know anymore. The odds are against us, yet we're stronger and prevailing. Learn from mistakes, counting souls for sale. I like that because it's like unsure and scared, we're planning our reprise. Like the song was so like empowering, but it wasn't like we're bad motherfuckers.
Yeah.
How do you say that word that you were saying
selfish
before?
Avant leaders.
You know what I mean? No, that's not all that it is. We're afraid and we're unsure, but like we're doing this.
Right.
Like, and I think that's a lot of the times when you want to change certain mindsets in your life, or you want to get out of situations that you've been in a constant cycle of, and you know that it's bad for you. Like you're unsure and you're scared, but like you have to like say, okay, today's the day. You know, I'm getting out of this. You know, so I think that it's cool, like that it's not just about like whoa, like we're unbelievable, but it's also we're, you know, it's balancing that, because as humans there is that frail part of us and that strong part of us, that fearful part and that brave part. Like we have, there's more to the shadow self than just like good and bad, you know?
Right.
So I really like that. Like,
no, that's such a good point. Is there's a lot of self-awareness there, because the facts are, when you're a big rock star like that with that type of influence, you are a leader.
oh yeah,
And I think it's a very heavy burden to accept that. Like people that, you know, like Charles Barkley had this famous quote, "I'm not a role model." Yes, you are.
you are. If you're out there in the public
If you're
eye,
out there in the public eye, you're a fucking leader.
the thing is,
End of story.
it's not just if you're in the public eye. Like everybody is a role model of somebody else.
Right.
If you have kids,
Right.
or you're an uncle,
Right.
or you work, or
Right.
everybody that's in your vicinity, you're a role model for them, for good or for evil.
Right.
They're either going to be like, I want to be like that, or they're going to be like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, you can't offload that burden. Like it's there. So like in this song, like they but there's some people who are like more.
Yeah.
Because the
Yep.
sphere of influence
circle of influence is wider.
is wider.
Yep.
So, you know, it's.
But we were
it's
meant to lead.
Well, yeah.
Like, that's how God created us.
Right.
We're supposed to rule. So if that's part of it, then every single one of us have that same call. Like we're, you know, it doesn't matter how insufficient you feel. Like
Right.
there's a plan for you, and it just depends on how much you want to
Embrace it.
embrace it.
That's true. And
Yeah.
there's a reason that in all the hero stories, the hero's always reluctant.
Yeah.
You know, because it's human nature to. Everybody knows there's that seed of greatness in you, but everybody also knows there's that cost. So every time we retell the story, the hero's always reluctant to take on his role. But here they're like, yeah, but then they've got the self-awareness to know that, well, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So Yeah, I mean, this is a really
So
good song.
learn from mistakes. That makes sense. Counting souls for sale. I don't understand that, though. I don't know what they mean by that. Counting souls for sale.
Well, I mean, that's slavery, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what we did with slavery?
Yeah.
And that's a mistake that you have to learn from.
Oh.
You know, in all the different forms of slavery that exist,
Well.
and all the different ways that we sell souls. That's a, you know,
Well, he said that the meek were with them.
yeah,
The knee jerk would be to prey off the weak.
right. But which, you know, we keep having the same conversations, and I'm not being vague when I say there are always groups of people who a given society will say those people are not
Yep.
as human as we are.
Yep.
Even if you show them scientifically they're Homo sapiens, doesn't matter. And so it's like, go ahead.
Well, even in the show that we're watching, you know, they're calling them inmates.
Inmate, right.
Call them inmate.
Right.
Because they said then you can be.
Then you can treat them
Don't
any way
call
you
them
want.
their name because
Don't-
you need them to be less human, so you can treat them the way you need to treat
right,
them. So call
right.
them inmate.
Exactly. It's like if you just if you have a group of people who are being marginalized that way, like we're never gonna get to the utopia that we really believe is possible until that very basic understanding of human worth and value is applied across the board.
Right. Right.
Across the board for every segment of our society.
Yeah.
And until we get there, we didn't learn the lesson we need
Right.
to learn.
Right.
But you know what? It costs you to do that.
It does.
It costs you to do that. It costs you friendships. It costs you time. It costs you money. We've got, you know, Albany Rose, right? I mean, she put it out. So, you know, Albany Rose, that pro-life atheist girl.
Yeah.
And she's talking to somebody right now who's like on the borderline. And she's like talking about hundreds of dollars and needing help so that they can show this girl, look, there's people who will help you. You don't have to kill your child.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
it's going to cost you to be a leader. Or there are other people who...
Can we put that in the link? How if people want to help?
Yeah, if you want to help out Albany Rose, we're going to put that in the link. But
Yeah.
there's other people who like prison reform. A lot of people who are leading the fight for prison reform are doing it because they understand that people in prisons are dehumanized.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's even reform about you know, elder abuse. That's
Yeah.
a thing with these guys in the nursing home, and it's like they're done.
Yeah.
And they can't contribute anything to our society.
Yep.
So there's a souls that you can count. Like there are so many segments of our population that are dehumanized behind closed doors, whether behind the doors of a clinic or behind the doors of a cell or behind the doors of a hospice home or whatever.
And
they're
I said
always
it
behind
before.
some doors.
I said it before. The other thing too is when people discriminate against other people because of what they look like. Like it doesn't matter if you're the most intelligent. Like I said before, when I had that issue and my eye was all swelled up because I was allergic to that stuff, and like I got treated way different. And so I'm like, people are treating other people less than if they don't meet some physical standard that they feel that they should, and that's so wrong. That means that lots of people are being treated like that.
Yeah. I mean, that line, counting souls for sale, is insane. What is pornography? I mean, that's a soul of a girl,
Right.
most likely sexually abused in an early age,
Yeah.
who is now for sale for the
Right.
consumption of other people to feast on her.
Right.
That's you know, like there's so many different things, and you know, you can get away from the whole Christian sensibilities thing. Like if that is something that you wouldn't want for your daughter, then you yourself know it's wrong, even if you're not a Christian. You don't have to be a Christian and know that's some fucked up shit to do to a person. You know what I mean? And so we got a long way to go to creating the world that we want to create. You know?
Right.
And that's, you know,
Right.
for us, that's why we have this understanding that we need a savior, because there's so many there's so many areas, and it'd be okay if it was one thing here. It wouldn't be okay, but if it was only one thing here and there, but it's like
It seems more doable than
there's so many members of our society who are for
Yep.
sale or who they're open season for killing.
Yep.
It's like it's
Or
mind-boggling.
both.
It's mind-boggling to think about, and it's like we got to learn from those mistakes. And the crazy thing is, one day I believe that we're gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
We're really gonna figure it out.
Yep.
And so, you know, I think, and everything that you do in the world and everything that you put out into the atmosphere is either contributing to creating that day, that that world a day earlier or a day later.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I mean,
Absolutely.
It's that simple. So
Yep.
there's a lot of it, and I love the fact that this beautiful positive message came through
Such
imperfect people.
Oh, I was gonna say such unbelievable music.
Well, yeah, well, that too. The vehicle was amazing because you have to be
Yeah.
excellent in the way that you.
Woo!
But I love that it came through
Yeah.
imperfect people
Yeah.
with flaws.
Yeah.
Very major flaws. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
How come, like, that's the thing, like, you know, he said this one thing when he was drunk, but how come people aren't, like, going around blasting, hey,
I
you
know.
know, he talked about,
I know.
like, making, you know,
Learning from our mistakes. and
and
prevailing and
counting souls for sale, like, that we shouldn't be doing that, like,
yeah.
I'm blown away by the fact that negativity sticks in us and embeds itself in us so much deeper than positive stuff.
Right.
You know, I was just,
Right.
you know, talking to somebody that was saying like how they had a horrible day, like some horrible things was going on all day long, like just one thing after the next.
Yeah.
And then they said something in our comment section, you know, and then everybody came after them. And there's one thing to say, you know, I disagree with that. And then there's other ways that people like belittle somebody and say it in ways that are, you don't have to talk to somebody like that. You can
Yeah.
disagree stridently, but you don't have to be so disrespectful and
Yeah.
so, because you don't know what the person went through that day. And sometimes people are going through some very, very difficult things.
Yeah.
You know, and then the words that we say, they're either going to bring life or they're going to bring death. And, you know, for this person, it made their day worse. Like,
Yeah.
So it's like, so I'm like, why? How come nobody's blasting that from the rooftops?
And
Heaven
saying,
forbid
yeah.
you listen to a Pantera song and then they say, you know, he's a racist.
Yeah.
But they don't bring up that.
Yeah.
That he said that line. You know,
Yeah.
like
It's unbelievable.
maybe the guy, you know, maybe he wants to change his mindsets. Like some people, some of us just have
Well,
these.
we had a guy in a chat one time. He said, "Hey, I'm a recovering racist, and you've helped to open my
Yeah.
eyes." And I love that because
Yeah.
he didn't say I used to be a racist.
No.
You know, and he's getting better every.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
like God, but it's true. It's like this is what now that you're gonna pigeonhole the guy and say this is what he's all about
Yeah.
instead of saying this is what he's all
Yeah.
about. Like that was the exception. This is the rule of who he
Please,
is.
if you think that you didn't have one day where you said something that if it got blasted over social media, people wouldn't crucify you for it, then you are out of your fucking
Please,
mind.
some of you have said the craziest, most evil, prejudiced,
Some of you have typed it.
bigoted shit to me, and I overlooked it, and now we're good friends now.
Yeah.
like
please, can we have a
Stop
little
it.
grace for people?
stop it.
You know, stop. It's so funny how everybody is like, oh, you shouldn't judge. They talk about Christians.
Right.
You shouldn't judge. You shouldn't
Right.
judge.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers are walking around judging
I know.
everybody.
Those are always like the most judgmental people. Literally, those are always like the most judgmental, like
Chill.
fucked up people. Like, give the guy a break.
Yeah.
Good lord. And you know what? Work on putting some positivity in the atmosphere
Yeah.
yourself. Like,
Yeah.
when was the last time you've written anything like this to encourage people?
Right,
more?
right.
Just stop it. Start your own YouTube channel against racism. Then, if you're so passionate about it, you racist man. You probably racist yourself. All right, but we still love you.
Yep. Yep.
All right, this is a 10 for me.
Me too.
Shout out to the big homies.
Yep.
Rest in peace, fellas. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone.